welcome to Casual Esports Amateur League. I am Ansem571.
And I am TTU Phoenix, and we will be your casters on this Friday afternoon, evening crossover.
For those of you who are East Coast versus West Coast.
Yeah, that's true. There are West Coasters, including at least one Canadian. And
there are multiple Canadians in this server.
People rating us.
Yeah, we have a whole team that's located in Canada, actually. And yes, they are still around.
You ever seen the movie Canadian Bacon, about how Canada's massing its population on the border to prepare for an invasion?
No, I have not. That's a new one. But
It's
today,
true. That's real.
Today we are going to be casting Clout 7 versus eBROS. Now, I believe Mr. Producer could correct me if I'm wrong, but is this their week 1 or their week 2 match? Week 2 match. Okay, so we've already seen them go at it a little bit.
Yeah, I saw. I cast eBROS versus Jihu. They did lose 0-2 to Jihu in their first match, but I think their second match in particular looked very strong. So I'm interested to see how they improve going into their second week match, because that's something that I enjoy most about being able to cast the full season is watching teams adapt, develop their own style, and improve their teamwork as they go.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these pro drafts now for game 1, and I'm liking it from both teams. They got really good front-to-back team fights on both sides, with high engagement power on both sides as well from multiple sources.
Yes, so for eBROS, it is a jungle Poppy with a support Nautilus. Poppy is not a very common pick in the jungle. She's actually a very good jungle when it comes to clear. Her clears are excellent. Her issue is mostly that her ganks are a little weak because she really needs the laner to be in a very favorable position for her to get the wall stun. However, Poppy is extremely good into Ornn, Rakan, and Jarvan, which Clout 7 did pick as their first 3 picks. So I actually really like the Poppy third answer from eBROS because the Rakan Grand Entrance and the Battle Dance shield can be blocked, the Jarvan EQ combo, both Ornn's E-Searing Charge Dash and the dash he uses to redirect his ult can also be blocked by Poppy. So Poppy can shut down basically all of the engage from Cloud 7 if she's in the right place. About the only thing she can't block is Jarvan's Cataclysm because he is unstoppable during his ult.
Yeah, like Poppy isn't, at least for a jungler perspective, for the past few years, I have seen Poppy be used more as that counter pick champion rather than like a good solid jungler because of what her E provides. Her W. I believe if it was Misfits back in 2017, Maxlore was using Poppy jungle to counter Zac, who was rising in popularity at the time.
She's also an excellent pick into Zac.
Yeah.
But I like the fourth pick Nautilus for eBROS because since Poppy's weakness is engage, they draft Nautilus, who has excellent engage. So they have Poppy to counter engage, they have Nautilus for engage, and Caitlyn, Gangplank, and Cassian can all deal damage very safely. Gangplank can use his oranges to negate some CC. Caitlyn has range, and Cassian has his Riftwalk mobility, especially after level 16.
Agreed. But with enough speculation, I believe it is due time to get this game underway. They waited over a week because we had some issues with our clients last time. But let's get on into this. Clout 7 versus eBROS. Game 1, who's going to take it?
So as we are loading... looking at runes and masteries, the runes look pretty standard with a few exceptions. We have Grasp on Gangplank, which makes him a fairly good lane bully. Unsealed Spellbook on Ornn, which is popular into ranged champions. The standouts for me are the Fleet Footwork on Kassadin, which is a good rune, but it suggests he wants to be a little safe, have a little bit more sustain. The Comet on Mad Hacker's Victor. I feel like I often see Victor go with either summon Airy for poke because he doesn't have a built-in crowd control to guarantee the Comet, or something like Phase Rush or Fleet Footwork to kite. And then the Electrocute on Poppy, as opposed to the Aftershock that you'd expect from like a tank jungle, which suggests that she's either looking to get more early ganks in and use the Electrocute burst, because Poppy does proc Electrocute well, or this could be a warrior damage-oriented Poppy that we're going to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how she builds.
Starting items all look pretty standard. I like the Corrupting Potion on the Ornn on Forshaw. I preferred over D-Shield on Ornn since you can build the D-Shield in lane if you need it, but you can't build Corrupting Potion if you need it.
Yes, and also the thing that I'm pretty sure you mentioned it, but I just tuned it out. With the Kassadin, I wonder if he's going to go for the double stacking versus just getting like a rod and go. Because against a Victor, you're kind of able to afford doing that, just because he has to do the same thing.
Yeah, Victor I would definitely think of as a more scaling champ. His early lane is not the most amazing, but he has a very strong mid to late game. I think I'd go for the double stacking here just because Gangplank's not under huge threat after the early game, and Caitlyn Nautilus is a very strong lane, so I feel like he has the safety to scale and doesn't have to come online real fast. So both junglers started bot side and cleared a single camp before going to their top side. Jarvan clearing Krugs, Poppy clearing Wolves. Poppy is a camp ahead because she just did her Raptors, so she'll be level 3 after this buff, and will be positioned to look for a gank. But top lane's already pushed in, so I don't know if she sees opportunity there. A lot of damage from the Victor onto the Cass, and Cass getting pushed around a little bit. Jelly Roll's already running.
Oh, does get a little bit of a jump onto Victor, but that glowing field, or gravitational field.
Yeah, and that's kind of thing you see with Poppy. Like, it's very awkward for her to gank unless
she missed the hook and is trying to do a little bit, but does take double tower shots. Is not going to be enjoying that one. Will have to walk away. It looks like he actually used the hook or the flash to try to get onto him.
Victor tried to flash hook, yeah. So Mad Hacker absorbing a lot of pressure here. Poppy's looking for another gank, but again, like, unless you're going into a side lane and the laner is pushed up, it's difficult for Poppy to find the right angle to get that heroic charge.
Yeah, in this early part of the game, Caitlyn can afford to, you know, forego a little bit of CS just because of her range allowing her to afford that.
Well, what I think was interesting was Sugatime roamed mid because Caitlyn had back for the early call, so they didn't really lose any time in lane in return for the roam, though he did burn his flash.
Yeah, but I'm still going to put Rakan and Xayah over just because they're the more common and better duo queued champions.
It's a very easy to execute combo.
Yes. But it is also easy to counter the Rakan.
Yeah, it's very easy to stop his grand entrance, poke him out, because he really doesn't have range, and his cooldowns are very long, particularly in the early game.
Yeah, his range is about 400, which is just barely counting him to be a ranged champion, but that means nothing to a Caitlyn. That's that's as far as she can put her traps, if I'm stand corrected.
Forshaw is farming well. He's actually out farming a Jelly Roll on the Gangplank, but I'd like to see him be a bit more aggressive. Here, go. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. There you go. He's going, and then we just go. Okay, well.
Because this is really the point as a tank where you do have kill pressure on the guy.
It's looking interesting. Both players don't have any health, but Kassadin still has some mana to fight. So Victor's going to recognize that and walk away.
Yeah, if Caston had hit level 6 without Victor backing, he probably could have killed him using the magic damage shield from his nullifying ult. What's the Q? Null Sphere, not nullifying orb. That is a rune. Poppy's going to go for an early dragon here. Her base damages are excellent, so with her bot lane rotating up, this should be a pretty easy pickup. I actually think that I like Cloud Drake a lot as a pre-Soul Drake, because Cloud Soul is really good for certain champions, but there's a lot of champions where a little bit of extra ult CDR is nice. Like, Poppy ult and Gangplank ult both have very long cooldowns. Speaking of cooldowns, Victor is forced to use his ult.
Yeah, but Kassadin just kind of retaliates. You know, he's not really a channeling type of champion, so he can just walk away from it. And he's now looking to go in. He's dropping a damage on him. Both of them do have their flashes available, so it'll be on to Kassadin to make that play happen.
Notably, the Kassadin has already healed almost over 400 health from the fleet footwork, so it's giving him a lot of sustain in lane, and really helping him.
How do you see that?
So if you
sorry, yeah, it's 500 now, but yes, I see.
Yeah, 507. There's a little pop-out window for the runes.
Yep.
So I can see that he took Presence of Mind, Legend Tenacity, Coup de Grace, and then Ravenous Hunter and Taste of Blood. Taste of Blood giving him even more sustain, because every time he Qs the Victor, he just gets, 20, 30 health back.
Yeah. I think he could have gone for... Oh, what is it? Oh no, I know that's Taste of Blood. He could have gone for the bonus magic pen when he uses a dash.
Sudden Impact.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be less optimal on Kassadin because it does have a cooldown, albeit a short one, and he's gonna blink
so
off.
it lasts for a duration is the thing.
It does. It's like 7 seconds.
I don't think it's that long, but we do have a little bit of a scuffle happening down bottom lane. Poppy's bullying the Jarvan, doesn't even know the Kassadin is here. He is collapsing upon them. They are looking to go in for the Jarvan. The Jarvan is going to be able to flag and drag out, and the Gangplank is going to use his ultimate, but they're not going to get anything. So, used up ultimate, but it does force the Jarvan out of his own jungle.
I like that. I don't know if that was just Jelly Roll being attentive or a call from the team, but that's what I like to see when you have a champion in a safe lane who's got that global impacting ultimate, is using it to enable plays elsewhere. In this case, nothing comes of it, but they're able to force Clout 7 out of their own jungle and claim 2 plates on the bot lane tower.
Yeah, and for that, Poppy is going to go and go. He does get onto the Victor. The Victor still has flash. He uses it. Does get hooked by the Nautilus, and down will go the Victor for first blood, going over to the Gangplank.
And Gangplank's just a champion who is... Some champions are experience dependent, some are gold dependent. Gangplank's very much a gold dependent champion. His core item, Triforce, is one of the most expensive. I think it is the most expensive item in the game.
It is the most effective item.
Yeah, at 37, 33. Yeah, so he's looking at a lot of, he needs a lot of money to really come online. So getting that first bullet is just 400 more gold in his pocket and gets him the Phage. See, I don't know if I'm as much a fan of the Iceborne first on Ornn, because it's a lot of armor, yes, and it does give good damage, but it doesn't give you health. Sunfire is super strong right now.
Yeah,
and
so
it's not
early game, especially since he went what is that, Spellbook. He doesn't have grass to be proccing either, so he's going to have 0 health going into the mid game.
Yeah,
and he's just going to get destroyed by everything that touches him.
And Iceborne Gauntlet is usually not the preferred Ornn upgrade.
Oh, Poppy wrapping around the back. They are going to collapse onto the Victor. The Victor is not going to be able to escape, so he's trying to trade back 1-for-1, but he does not get the damage out, and down he goes.
Chaos Storm does a lot of damage. I think Thunderstorm correctly realized that if the Siphon Power had come up again, the shield plus Empowered Auto might have let Mad Hacker trade it back and get a kill before dying. But Catherine does pick up a kill, and you never want to see a Catherine get kills early. It's always.
Yeah, and we do see that he is going for the tier, and it looks like he is going for Rod with that Ruby Crystal, so we'll see the double stacking from him.
Yep, there's the Catalyst of Eons coming out, so I think that's fair. He's ahead.
Caitlyn is dropping traps under tower, so they can't be... Ooh, nice chain barrels. So for those at home, while it is out on the PvE, it is not live. The chain stacking for Gangplank barrels are not there yet. So by that I mean, for when you chain your barrels, it will increase the damage of the final barrel.
Oh, they're giving him increased damage on barrel chains?
Yeah, so like the damage will add multiplicatively.
I'm not sure I like that.
So like it'll do it at reduced effectiveness per barrel, but it does increase the overall damage of the final barrel.
Like if you get hit by multiple barrels, or like the third barrel in a row gets bonus damage.
The third barrel in a row. So like with the ghost barrel combo, the first barrel, and then you use the first barrel, the second barrel hits, that second barrel is what does more damage.
That is not where Jarvan wanted to be, and not where he expected a Poppy to be. Oh, this is the Death Dance Poppy. Scrambles is going in. Scrambles is going no chill Poppy.
So that could be a warrior first with the...
That's true.
But yeah, I definitely think
this
is questionable. But hey, I mean, if it wins in the game, then it wins in the game. Ornn is trading in very well against the Gangplank. The Gangplank is going to get clapped by this Ornn. Ornn is going to be able to walk out of the Gangplank ultimate just ever so much.
And while he doesn't have the health, notably he does have the bonus damage from the Sheen, which gives him really the little extra damage he needed there to win that fight. Plus it gives him CDR, which Ornn always appreciates. And given that he's against 3 physical damage, I think he could go for the Iceborne Sunfire upgrades, and then just build Abyssal later.
Yeah, like build it as your like
your third,
upgraded item.
I mean, even if I'm not upgrading Abyssal, I'm building it on Ornn, because it's just so good for him. So they do summon the Riptail top, they claim 2 plates. And this is actually a pretty
the Poppy
good...
is beating up the Xayah. Xayah's going to have to use Blade Caller to get out of dodge. Now Rakan is returning the favor! We are going down!
Poppy's got no
Poppy
mana
doesn't have
here.
any mana left and is going to be able to run away still, despite that.
See, Starfall had Ignite there, and the Ignite does 190 and Poppy only has like 300. I'm pretty sure he could have run that down. But they made the call not
Poppy
to.
still had Flash, so maybe
at least for Flash. But the top lane's actually in a very good position for Clout 7. Okay, the plates did just fall. I was going to say it was a good position because since one plate was almost down, Gangplank couldn't risk leaving, but it'd be very easy for Ornn to come back and get that plate at his leisure.
Every barrel that gets autoed by a melee champion just feels so bad. Oh, Caitlyn is going to get caught up, is going to have to use her flash and heal, will still get knocked up by the Rakan. The Rakan is going to have to retreat as there is a TP coming in from the Caston, and that'll back it off. So that'll be 2 summoners for none on the side. But then top lane, Nautilus and Gangplank also were able to pick up the kill onto the Ornn.
It's very well played by eBROS. Basically, Gangplank baits Ornn in by presenting a good opportunity for the combo, but Nautilus is already in the top lane bushes, and so he just comes in, hooks Ornn, hits him with a depth charge, and they're able to lock Ornn down and get the kill. Gangplank has already completed his Triforce.
Now, a thing to note between the 2 supports, so Rakan isn't a good user of Stoneplate. That's just because of his low overall health that he has, because the shield increases his effective health. So he's going to be going for Zeke's Herald, which is very effective support item, in addition to utility support items because of the Q and the E. But the Nautilus, being a good stone plate user, is going for that first, so he'll actually be in the front line with the Poppy, while the Caitlyn and Gangplank are trying to find some catches.
Nautilus notably is about 800 gold ahead of the Rakan, and there's overall about a 5,000 gold lead for eBROS. Looking at it, 800 in top lane, 800 in jungle. Basically, it's 7 to 800 in all positions except ADC, where it's about 1,700 gold. Duranga is very far ahead of Vortex. He's already got his Berserker's Greaves, whereas Vortex only has his Boots of Speed. And a lot of that's come down to both the 50 CS lead on the Caitlyn and the fact that Caitlyn got all the plates in bot tower, some of which were solo.
And also another thing to note with the Rakan, he actually just left base, and he still hasn't changed his trinket. That is a no-no for support.
Sugitan's back again!
And down he goes top lane, and they're also still looking for this Xayah in the mid lane. The Poppy can lock her up, but she will be able to use her ultimate if she's able to get it off fast enough. Caitlyn is going to dive. The tower is about to fall anyways, so he is going to get the flash out of the Poppy. The Poppy will be tanking up a lot of free tower shots.
Yeah,
Maybe I can go in, maybe I don't.
Needed to just back out there. I think Forshawn needed to not be so aggressive and not be trying to combo the Gangplank, because, like, when you look at the map state, your tier 1 tower bot is down. Tier 2 is down, tier 1 and mid is down, and you don't see Nautilus there. Like, you don't see Nautilus anywhere on the map. Where is he going to be? He's got to be top lane because that's the last tier 1 to take. And they want to make sure that Gangplank gets ahead. Poppy did, in fact, go Death Dance first item with Boots of Swiftness.
I am speed.
Like, this
Victor
is
will
a
be
cheap
hitting
fucking
up
Poppy
on
if
the
I've ever seen
backside,
one.
but Cassidy is looking for the Jarvan to keep him away. Gangplank will use the barrels, but he just uses his Q a little too early. The teleport is going to be coming in from the Ornn from the top lane. He is going to go in. Poppy is going to be able to secure the dragon, but now there's a fight brewing, and Nautilus doesn't get his ultimate off yet because he doesn't have it up, but Vortex will be able to take out Sugitan. But in the meantime, everybody else is looking to fall. And with that, we actually have a 2-for-2 from both sides, with quite a number of people barely escaping with their lives.
So interestingly, no one had a bounty there. Cassidy didn't have a bounty, I think because he got his second kill in that fight. So it's about even in terms of gold. The dragon does go to eBROS. I think the TP from Ornn was a little optimistic because the rest of his team was behind the pit and not really in a position to follow up. And when he TP'd in, he basically got hit by the Nautilus and Poppy CC.
And now we see the nearly global ranged. Nautilus does land the flash hook. The Xayah does not have her ultimate yet, and she will be taken down. Gangplank tries to use the triple barrel combo, but does not get it out in time.
Yeah, so by the time Ornn TP's in, his team just is not really in a position to follow up. And then Xayah does get picked off in mid, trying to push down the tier. eBROS seem to really be firing on all cylinders here. I think they came out of week 1 with a clear plan. They're like, we draft scaling picks for top and mid because we feel like their picks and their and their playstyle is not really going to effectively punish them. We draft a strong bot lane that's going to have lane pressure, and we let Scrambles just, go meme mode with the Death Dance Poppy.
And we do have a big old fight happening. The Ornn will not be able to get his knockback ult on the R. And we are going to be seeing everybody falling for the side of Clout 7. And down goes everyone, with Vortex being the final one to only take out Sugitan.
It's Scrambles almost goes down, but the Death Dance lifesteal and the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of focus means he does escape. So they only lose 1 for 5. They do claim the tower using the Rift Herald. So that's another huge swing in favor of eBROS. They're now 10k ahead. 4 towers, 9 kills, 3 dragons up. Cassian's gonna steal away this blue buff, it looks like. I guess I don't really know what the plan of attack here would be for Clout 7. Because the Gangplank's fed. Like, all of the carries are doing a ton of damage on the side of eBROS. I think what you have to do is, like, pick off the Poppy, because she still isn't tanky. She's got 2 Ruby Crystals, my guess would be Black Cleaver, and a Death Dance. Like, literally no defense outside of the W resists. And so, like, if Scrambles gets CC chained and isn't able to block it with his W, he will go down very quickly, and then that takes away one of the frontliners for eBROS. So I think that's what you'd have to do. You have to pick off the Poppy, and then try to win the fight, or like just pick off the Poppy and or the Nautilus and use that to stall. Because without Poppy and Nautilus, eBROS probably don't want to fight. Gangplank's just holding mid 1v3 here.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He can do it himself now.
Yeah, that barrel did about 40% of Zaya's health.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even maxed yet, is it? No, it just got maxed, just ticked over.
Yeah, so Ornn notably does have his upgrade, so he's not very resistant to the Kassadin because he has no MR and not much health, but he's incredibly resistant to the physical damage that most of eBROS is doing.
We do have the Ornn ultimate. Going to collapse on 2, doesn't get the Caitlyn, because she will be able to flash out in time, does get knocked up by the Rakan. The Rakan is going to be going down very close. The Kassadin is trying to pick them both up in the back line, does take out the Victor. The Victor does go down, so does the Xayah. The Kassadin will be taken down by the Jarvan. The Gangplank tries to be sneaky with his Qs and his barrels, but he isn't able to get it, and he is going to get knocked up. But now he's going to be trying to return fire now that the Nautilus is able to tank up just a bit of damage with that Gargoyles, but he will look to be going down shortly if he doesn't get it out of this one here. They are going to allow him to live for now, so that'll be a 3 for 2 favoring Cloud 7.
And that's really good because they pick up a number of bounties there. They pick up a bounty on the Kassadin, they pick up a bounty on the Caitlyn in return for players who didn't have items themselves. So that is a good gold swing. They've closed the gap by about 1,000. What happens there is sort of what I mentioned earlier. Poppy gets caught, isn't very tanky, and is bursted down in the initial combo before Gangplank can teleport in. Jarvan then comes in on the flank. Caitlyn's pretty low, and he just picks her up with the Cataclysm and an auto or two. Kassadin gets some good damage, but this looks like it's going to be Dragon Soul going over to eBROS. Yeah, Jarvan's not able to get into the pit in time.
And that, yes, and so with that, we already have a pretty tanky team having more tanks, so yikes to have to go through that.
Yeah, and notably, the way that the Mountain Soul shield is, like the way the numbers are tuned, the shield's actually pretty consistent.
Victor's a little get caught out by this Kassadin. Gangplank will be picking up the assist for his troubles, and that will be a downed Victor.
Yeah, like, with the way the numbers on Mountain Soul are, it's about a 400 to 500 shield, almost no matter who you are. So it really means a lot for carries, like the, because, let's see, so she's shielded right now for 230. But she has 1377 health. So, like, that shield is about 15% of her max health. It's just another 15% health that she has on, like, a 5-second cooldown, I think. So it really does a lot for carries. Like, when you're a tank, 400 health shield is nice. Uh-oh, Jarvan. But when you're a carry,
it's okay.
300,
it's okay.
That's one of those moments where he's like, I'm alright, I'm okay. And you're like, I don't know if you're okay.
And then after the fact, it's like, okay, he's fine.
eBROS are looking to try to force Cloud 7 to check them against the Baron, but they do suspect that that's what they're doing. They see the pop.
looks like they are going to go ahead and start up this Baron. They do have that extra bit of health thanks to the Earth Drake, and they are trying to slowly get to there. Gangplank will get one barrel charge off on the Jarvan. He's still healthy enough to be able to go in.
Ornn needs to
Ornn
hold like
and
right
Gangplank
now.
are going to be going in, but the Ornn gets hooked up by the Nautilus. The Rakan is going to flow up before he can get anything off him. Xayah will be able to hit two of them with the help of the Ornn.
Huge.
The Ornn is going to be going down now, and the Gangplank and the Caitlyn will be taking out both him and the Jarvan, and they will be pushing for that mid lane inhibitor.
Yeah, like there's a huge ram from 4-Shot that gets a double kill. He picks up Poppy and I think the Casted. But the other two carries in the game, like this is a 6-1 and 10 Gangplank. He's got Essence Reaver. He's building another BF sword item, probably Infinity Edge. Like the crit carries on eBROS are doing massive damage at this point, and Jarvan just doesn't have the damage with the Phage to 1v2 that, or the tankiness to survive it. I think that Ornn taking the Blast Cone was a mistake, because yes, he got the 2 kills with the ramp, but the fact is that because of Poppy, Ornn's only chance to get a good ult initiation is from range. He needs to stay out of Poppy's range and call the ult from a distance. And so he bounces over the wall with the Blast Cone with Jarvan, and then he just gets Nautilus hooked, and now he's rooted, he can't use any of his CC abilities. And there were a bunch of traps across the entrance that were blocking him, but I think what he needed to do was Blast Cone up towards top lane and then call the ult down the river.
Jarvan is caught out by the Poppy. The Nautilus will be able to retaliate with that hook. Jarvan flashes over the wall, is trying to escape from the Gangplank barrels, but it's not fast enough. And down goes Jarvan.
That was a 714 damage crit right there. Notably, Jarvan went Mercury Treads. I would have much preferred the Ninja Tabby here. Same for the Rakan, because there is a Nautilus, but like Kassadin and Gangplank don't have a lot of CC. I think you want the Ninja Tabby for the physical damage resistance here, and the auto attack damage reduction.
Yeah, Gangplank will get the barrel, and is looking to get Mad Hat. I think you could say he was mad for the Gangplank hacking.
I think we're gonna have to workshop that pun a little bit more.
That's fine. I don't make good puns.
Send that back to production for another.
Mr. Producer, you gave me that pun. How dare you?
So eBROS are looking to close this game out. They've got a downed inhibitor. They're looking to push for the win here. With Gangplank doing and Caitlyn doing massive damage to towers, this should be a pretty easy
will
thing.
jump into the back line, trying to lock up the Gangplank, but will be going down. Rakan is trying to escape now. The Xayah will be able to use her Blade Caller, but will be going down due to the damage of the Caitlyn and the Kassadin. No hope for her to survive. Now they're trying to escape the wrath of the Kassadin. The Kassadin is going to get stunned up by the Victor. The Victor will drop everything, but to no avail. Rakan, however, will be dropped due to the Gangplank's barrels, critting onto him and his face. Now they will crit onto this Victor, and down he will go, and that'll be game 1.
Yeah, that was just a really commanding performance from eBROS. Like, the Death Dance Poppy was a meme, but I think it did what it needed to, which was strong early skirmishing, strong early fighting. But really, this is just a story of the carries. Like, you have a 9-1 and 13 Gangplank. There's 22 kill participation on a Jelly Roll. This was an absolute barn burner of game from him. 18 KP on the Caitlyn, 15 on the Kassadin. All of the carries on eBROS were able to safely scale through the lane phase into the mid game, get their items, and then just take over the game. And the problem is that Clout 7 drafted a tank top and a more tank utility jungle with the Jarvan, and one of their carries was very far behind in the Victor, and Xayah was pressured in and down a lot of CS as well. So...
Alright, so I think that's enough analysis for this game. Let's go ahead, take a short break, and go into game 2. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game 2 of Clout 7 versus eBROS. I am Ansem571,
I'm TTU Phoenix.
and that was a hard-fought win for eBROS. They were in the driver's seat for the majority of the game, but still, they had to really scrap for a couple of those teamfight wins.
And I'm excited to see that week to week they didn't let their loss in week one get them down. I have seen teams where a few weeks of early losses can really damage morale, and teams can kind of sort of sink to the bottom without like direction or a commitment to improve. But eBros have really they took it in stride, and I think have correctly diagnosed some of the issues they had in their first week, and came out really strong with their second week game. We're looking at the pro drafts. I believe there are a few errors in the pro drafts. Looking at the game, it's not Rek'Sai and Ray as the final picks. It is the Gragas is correct, but it's Vladimir and Shen are the last two picks. The Gragas, Kaisa, and Janna are accurate.
Yeah, and then for the blue side and eBROS, everything seems correct on theirs. eBROS kind of went with more of like a quick pick and then 4v5 comp this time around.
Yeah, very pick oriented, very single target. Lots of upfront burst.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And then Cloud 7, they looked for a more team fight team, despite what the pro draft tells you.
Yeah, I'm a little interested to see how eBros do in this style, because I think that they've essentially sort of switched styles. In that in game one, eBros had more of the scaling composition. They had the Kassadin, they had the Gangplank, they had a strong 2v2 bot, but really their solo lane carriers were like, look man, I just want to farm for 15 to 20 minutes and then I'm online. And instead they pick Garen, an early game lane bully, Nocturne, a jungler who isn't really he's a good 1v1 duelist, but he's not a great early ganker. He's very much a farm till 6 ganker. And then Fizz, who I'd also call like an early to mid-game assassin. Like, his damage is good throughout all the game, but it's really that early stage when he can start getting picks with the fish that's very strong. And their only real scaling pick, I'd say, is the Tristana. Whereas Clout 7 have Kaisa and Vladimir, two very strong late-game scaling champs. Gragas has a lot of damage, and his teamfight disruption is always relevant. And then Shen has I've been practicing Shen, and like, his first few levels are quite strong, but then he really scales to become a very strong late game tank after a bit of a weak mid game.
Yeah. So, with that said, Mr. Producer, send us on in. Cloud 7 versus eBros. Who's going to win this?
Masagi!
So looking at runes and starting items, looks pretty standard on the side of eBros. They have Conqueror on Garen and Nocturne, Electrocute Fizz, Press the Attack Tristana, Aftershock
Vladimir
Blitzcrank.
can't decide what items he wants to start with. Is going to be going for a health crystal. So probably going to be looking into that Spirit Visage early. Blitzcrank, as he should, be invading.
Janna.
Oh no, the Janna's going to go down! No!
Oh, you never want to see that. The first blood going to the Fizz. That's, you really gotta be careful.
He's able to pick up his what is it called? Dark Seal? Yeah,
probably.
Oh no, he's going D-Ring. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's
because
an acceptable item.
I think that makes sense, because Vlad's very much like a safe scaler. Vlad's not going to fight you a lot, and so Doran's Ring for the extra health, the mana regen, a little extra farm help. Like, he's just looking to get to level 6 and then look to fight. I think the Ruby Crystal probably isn't for a Spirit Visage. My guess is it's her Proto Belt.
Okay.
Which is like a core first aim on Vlad, and Vlad loves early CDR, so the early Kindle gem helps a lot. And notably, everyone on the side of eBROS did share in that first blood, so they all picked up assists.
Yeah, that basically the equivalent of a first blood for all 5 people is like everybody killed one ward without any experience going over to anybody. Blitzcrank does land the hook onto the Kaisa, but the Kaisa is going to be able to walk away as there is no follow-up, as it is a level 1 Tristana.
And notably, with Tristana, we saw the power of the Comet Janna. Like, she presses W, and Trist takes like 200 damage.
Yeah, so if I were to look at Janna, oh, we do see a small disconnect. There were issues getting into the game earlier, but if I look and I see, this is solo queue Janna. She's got the Relentless Hunter and Taste of Blood as her secondary. Scorch, Celerity, Manflow, and Arcane. This is basically, I am going to poke you and you're going to enjoy it. If not, then I definitely will.
It's very much lame bully Janna.
Yep.
So one thing for those of you who are watching, because this is a replay, this game was played on 10.8, pauses are skipped in replays. There actually was a pause there, but we don't see it in the replay. So it's about a 700 gold lead for eBROS. Notably, there's a good CS lead for 4-shot in the top lane. I suspect most of that gold lead is just coming from the first blood, because otherwise the CS...
Ooh, Blitzcrank is mid lane, not really going to get it. It's a Vladimir. I mean, yeah, you force him to use his pool, but that was it.
So that's something that I've noticed that...
Actually, wait, Fizz might just kill him. Ooh, that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Alright.
Yeah, because Blitzcrank forces the pool, Vlad no longer has that because it is a relatively low cooldown. And they force the flash out of Mad Hacker. What I noticed Sugatime did this last game as well. Duranga takes an early back for a second starting item. Last game he went for Cold, this time he went for a second D-Blade, and Sugatime roams mid before backing. So for teams that are going to be facing eBROS in the future, that might be something to take note of, that after Duranga backs, your mid needs to pay attention because there's probably a support roaming to his lane.
Yeah, because that was like on cue that it happened. Both of them did it at the same time.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a strategy that's been rehearsed, at least among the bot lane, if not among the team, of, okay, we take an early back, and then Sugatime roams mid to try to get a kill there. Blitz's mana barrier is going to be forced out there, so he's going to have to be careful about trying to start a fight, because given that Vortex and Sarathal are both at full health, he could die. Blitz is a tank support, but isn't really the tankiest of tank supports. He's a little bit more like, I would say, like Thresh, where he's kind of like bruiser levels of durability and not true tank levels of durability, at least in the early game.
Does get the hook onto the Kaisa. The Kaisa is going to be dropped low and does get the double hit of the Tristana. And now Tristana is going to be looking to go onto this Janna. Janna's trying to stay inside the minion waves, knows that this is her only shot of where she can even try to live, but will be going down to the Tristana, going for that flash. Does get hit by the last turret shot, but Triumph will proc before she dies.
Yeah, so that's just a very good 2-2. Notably, Sarthal had Janna shielded Vortex early, and as soon as the shield is about to time out, Sugatime pokes the Kaisa. And then between the Ignite and the Tristana up front-loaded damage, they're able to get that kill. That's one thing that people don't really respect about Tristana, is that for all that she can be a weak laner, and is more of a scaler, she has very good early all-in damage. It's just that if she loses the all-in, she's kind of hosed.
Yeah, now we have some more fighting happening in top lane. We do have a Conqueror Garen versus Grass Shen. Shen's been proccing his Grass pretty well.
Yeah, let me see how many... the true measure of a tank in top lane is how many Grass procs they have. He has 3. So it could be more at this point, I'm just saying. Clout 7 is looking for this dragon. Nocturne's gonna blast one over the wall. Gragas
And
has
Nocturne
Smite
will
there,
actually
but
steal it.
yeah, I don't know if Gragas
And now
was afraid of
Blitzcrank is
getting
going to hook
hurt.
the Janna, but the Janna is going to be able to walk away as there is no follow-up. Vladimir was on the side and was 6. They didn't want no part of it.
I think that they needed to commit harder, particularly once you saw the control ward go down. Like, Nocturne's gonna blast code over the wall.
Ooh,
You can
Vladimir
probably
does
just
use
try to
his
kill
R,
that.
but he misses due to the playful Trickster. Will be looking to go in still, and now Nocturne is going to be retaliating. Doesn't have 6 quite yet, but will get his sphere off. In the top lane, Jelly Roll did get a solo kill onto the Shen as well. So with that, a 2 for 0 across the map.
Yeah, and that's just a rough situation for Clout 7. They get the air drag stolen, and notably, Nocturne really loves air drag. Nocturne is a champion who very much lives and dies by his ultimate. It is a relatively long cooldown, and so that early ult CDR is going to be very helpful for him. And then Mad Hacker, the Trickster is used to dodge the Hemo Plague, but he still wins the fight. But then he goes a little too deep.
Blitzcrank looking, does land it onto the Janna. The Janna will be ulted by the Shen. The Janna now needs to retaliate. The Blitzcrank does flash away because he understands that the Shen may have flash, but they didn't check the timers. So Shen will be able to get that summoner out of Blitzcrank, giving them a little bit of breathing room for Janna and Kaisa.
To be honest, he almost might not have even needed to taunt flash. He didn't have it, but because of the self-slow from Blitzcrank's speed boost, he might have been able to just roll up.
Fizz is going into the Vladimir. The Vladimir will pull away after the ignite, so he will take an extraordinarily high amount of damage. And with that, will have to be forced back.
Nocturne is picking up the Rift Herald here. Pretty much uncontested. J-Rob is quite low. He's just going to clear his top side. So it's up to Scrambles where he chooses to deploy this. I think that... Okay, I'm not really sure what Garen's going for. Garen's got a BF sword.
Storm Razor. No, GA. Because he has the cloth armor.
Yeah, but that could just be for Ninja Tapping. I'm really not sure here. Infinity Edge? Bloodthirster? I don't know. Bot lane tower is kind of low, but Tristana is winning lane and is a very good tower pusher. So I think I would say use the Rift Herald in top or mid, because those are the lanes you're having a little more trouble cracking open right now.
Oh, Gragas is looking for the gank. He does have the Predator propped and does knock up onto both of them. Is trying to wait until they do go in. Does use up the cast. And Janna will be taking that kill down on the Tristana. But now Fizz is looking for anybody, but is looking to probably escape now that the Vlad is also here.
Yeah, he only good pull. He only has one dodge, and if Gragas had started autoing him to get the red buff slow, they probably could have run Fizz down. He might have traded for the Janna or for the Kaisa, but it probably isn't really worth to do that after the fight has already been lost. Notably, the kill did go to the Janna, because Tristana almost outfights the Kaisa there, which,
does get the chompers onto the Gragas. Gragas is pinging for help. I'm dying! Help me! And Nocturne will be getting onto Gragas, and with that, that'll be a death for him.
Which is a shame, because that was actually very well played by J-Rob. He does a really good job. He flashes away so that Fizz can't combo him during the ult knockup. He then lays down the cask, the barrel toss, so that there's a slowing field, which is used to zone Fizz away, allow him to get to the Scuttle Crab speed boost, but Nocturne uses Paranoia and picks up the kill.
Really liking what I'm seeing from eBROS in this game. They scrapping, but they are scrapping well. Blitzcrank looking for the Vladimir is going to be able to get the pull off and is going to flash away from the Blitzcrank up.
Yeah, notably, neither team has really shown much attention top. Warshot is 2 levels behind, about 25, 26 CS behind the Garen. it's okay, I think, to leave the Shen unattended because it's a tank. You can leave tanks alone a lot of the time, but tanks do appreciate some help, and Garen is kind of getting out of control, and I think you want to try to check that.
Blitzcrank is looking up on the top side. He does not have Hex Flash as one of his spells, so he will just be pressuring the fact that he is there. Fizz uses his ultimate to try to catch the Kaisa, but she's too quick.
Yes.
And again, I am going to angrily yell at these supports. When you're around 400 stacks for your Sightstone item, just go ahead and swap your trinkets. Just go ahead and do that, because then you don't have to worry about it later.
Also, the Gragas has not swapped to Red Trinket either, and it's usually...
Nice snipe.
I prefer to swap to Red Trinket as a jungle on my first back. The only exception being if I die before completing my full... Speaking of dying... Ooh, Mad Hacker gets out with like 10 HP.
The only, so I would actually go with the blue trinket for Nocturne, just so you know you can guarantee vision on whoever you're targeting.
Yes, that's true. Nocturne would be an exception. But yeah, okay, so they do have the red trinket on the Gragas. I go red trinket on first back as a jungler, unless I died before completing my first clear and I'm worried about being invaded, in which case I keep my yellow trinket for another clear.
That's fair. We do see
It's Infinity Edge first Garen.
Oh! That's going to be painful.
Yeah. But notably, he isn't very tanky. He's got 1500 health. Garen does have Juggernaut base stats, so he's got a lot of health. Garen's also unique among Juggernauts in that he has what I would consider a true tank ability, in that his W gives him a
Vladimir,
shield.
looking to go in, does get the Zhonya's from the Fizz. The Vladimir will have to use his pool. Nice macros there, Vlad. I say that because of the instant EW for Vladimir. Almost an instinctive reaction.
I mean, he's had Sugi time in his lane enough by now. I do like that trade, actually. The cooldown on Vlad ult is not too long because he has 30% CDR now. And Fizz only gets one stopwatch. So Fizz is a very slippery character, and denying him that one chance to avoid death could be very important in a fight. But looking to pick up this Garen, he's doing a lot of damage, but... Oh, he's got the fancy feet. Even without the stopwatch, Thunderstorm gets a kill in mid lane with Sugatime's help, it looks like. It looks like eBROS have really tried to punish this mid lane with Mad Hacker. They drafted the Cassian in game 1, but he's been faced with frequent roams from Sugatime. He hasn't been ganked really yet, but he's definitely had a lot of emphasis put on his lane and on putting him behind.
Yeah, now Forshaw actually had to flash away from the Garen, thinking he was going to full combo him. Janna even has to come up here, and Janna doesn't really do much to help out in this situation here.
No, she could maybe save him with like a shield and an ult, but they're not going to have damage to kill Garen, I don't think. Not before he can spin his way out of there.
Yeah, and he went for the pure Sunfire Cape, no Tiamat, so he has no sources of actual damage yet.
Which I think is fair. He's behind, he wants armor. Going for that as opposed to Tiamat, where having used Tiamat on a number of champions, it's a lot of money to invest in something that gives you no real defense.
You get 2 charges off on the Herald. The Garen will be going in and looks to go and kill the Gragas.
The double
but enough shields and heals does keep him alive ever so much.
This is a 16-minute inhibitor. That's very early. Yeah, this is a full crit Garen. He's got Zeal. They're like, we don't need a tank. We just do damage. All right.
Yeah, we just go. We don't know what a We don't know what the back button is, but we'll take down the Fizz.
Alright, Thunderstorm discovers the back button the hard way.
Blitzcrank tries to land a hook on the Shen of all champions, but Shen will be able to dodge away from that one.
Realistically, this Shen is just under 2000 HP. He's got 126 armor, but he doesn't have any magic resist. Like, if they pull Shen, they can kill him without too much difficulty, I would think. Once he gets to Ninja Tabby and maybe starts on like a Randuin's for the anti-crit, he'll become a lot harder to kill, but... So they're posturing on this dragon. This will be third drag, so it would put eBROS on soul point. Sugaton's kind of low.
Is going to be going on to the Blitzcrank. The Blitzcrank will be going down to the Kaisa, and that is a great gold shutdown for what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but Nocturne is going to be going in, goes on to the Janna. The Janna is looking to go down very quickly, but they will be able to survive, and now Janna retaliates with her own ultimate, but blows up the Vladimir in the back line. Now they're looking to see what they can get onto the retaliation here. Do get the flash body slam, and Shen will pick up the Fizz.
Yeah, that was a drive-by. Scrambles just rolls in with his ult and smites it on the way in. He dies, and yeah, they give over a small bounty, but yeah, I think J-Rob's probably, he's probably toast here, yep. Like, they give over a 150 gold shutdown, but that's worth it. They pick up 2 kills in the ensuing fight, and they're now on soul point. Notably, for shot one Merc, I would have definitely liked to see the Ninja Tab here, because first off, there's not a ton of Merc treadsable CC on the side of eBROS. You have 3 big auto attackers in the form of Tristana, Garen, and Nocturne, so that 20% or 12% damage reduction is hugely valuable. And yes, the Fizz is strong, but realistically, Fizz is not looking to kill you. Fizz is looking to kill the Kaisa or the Janna or the Vlad. Like, if you're tanking Fizz's combo, even if you die, you're doing something right, because that means it's not going on to a more vulnerable member.
Ooh, does get the hook onto the Janna. The Janna will actually flash in place, but thanks to the Vladimir, will be able to escape. Fizz uses his ultimate, but doesn't land on anybody.
Let's just pop his Gargoyle Stone Plate.
It does actually use the Gargoyle Stone Plate. I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah, I think he was maybe concerned about follow-up damage from the Vlad ult. Garen has completed his Phantom Dancer. I think Stormrazor would probably be the next play, because maybe Shiv, but like the other 2 Zeal items are not hugely valuable for Garen. So I would guess...
Oh, but we are going on to the Janna. The Janna will not be able to knock him away because of the perfectly timed beat. And they are trying to take him out, but the Nocturne will have to flash away because Tower is scary.
Yeah, so he spell shields the Janna ult knockback, but he is then taunted by Shen, and isn't able to get enough damage onto the Janna to get the kill. Oh, they're looking for Gragas.
They are going to drop the Gragas instantly. No ultimate from Fizz required, just a Q and an R, and a 50% crit. Garen will take care of just that.
That's the issue you face with the AP Gragas build.
Garen is in the pit, and these 2 in the bottom lane are alone. They kind of need to be a little bit cautious, but they will be able to back away, no harm, no foul, and that will be the top lane taking out.
And they're taking the Baron. Like, this is a pretty, considering that they don't have their Tristana, this is a pretty fast Baron take from eBROS. Nocturne's tanking, and he's relatively healthy, so they should be able to clear this up no problem, and that will let Tristana then easily claim this bot tower, maybe claim the inhib.
Yeah, there's not much they can really do to stop Tristana from getting to this tower. The Vladimir can pressure and make it be like, okay, Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, and they're smart to back off because the rest of their team had gone back after Baron. Garen's just clearing out some things. Garen, oh, he doesn't have as much gold. Oh, he just bought another BF sword. He still hasn't finished his boots. And for a champion who relies on movement speed, I'd actually like to see him finish the boots just to let him run people down better. This is going for second.
Oh, he does hook the Gragas. The Gragas will not be able to get away, and down he goes to the Buster Shot from the Tristana.
I always underestimate how much damage Buster Shot does. Like, it's 400 damage at level 2. And so for an ADC, it was really a utility ability generally. For an ADC to have a magic damage ability that does that much damage is pretty uncommon. And so it's very easy to be caught off guard by how much damage Tristana can do. Plus, of course, it stacks and can detonate her explosive charge. They may not get the inhib, but they really want it. Alright, eBRO will claim the inhib. They'll lose. The mid inhib will go down as well. Kai'Sa's got 2 items though, so like Vortex is capable of popping off in this fight if he can dodge the hook and the fish and the other damage. He can definitely do a lot of damage here. Especially if they get a good Shen to keep him alive, or a good Janna ult, Janna shield. Tristana, they're looking to claim all 3 inhibs, just make it clean. They're not taking any chances here.
Garen just autoing everything and killing it in one hit. Does get a huge amount of damage onto the Blitzcrank. The Vladimir will be able to heal up a bunch of damage, but it is too little, too late. Shen is the only one alive after 4 are still alive, and that will go down to Tristana for the Shen.
Yeah.
And that is a 1 for 5 ace.
Clout 7, they make the call. They make the call to engage. They're like, all right, we have to fight for the 3rd hit, which is, I think, a good call to make. But their damage is just not focused enough. The Gragas body slam misses. The Shen taunt hits the Blitzcrank. They don't quite manage to kill the Blitzcrank, and they're just gonna pad the stats with an Ocean Soul before they end the game.
Just don't die, because we don't keep track of those right now. And that will be it. eBROS will be taking down Clout 7 2-0. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, eBROS really came back very well from their game 1. They had two commanding wins under their belt, which I think will feel really good to them. Like, you lose your first match, and the first game in particular was pretty rough, but having that 2-0 and having a commanding 2-0 in the next week shows you, like, yeah, we're competitors, we're here to fight, we're here to stay, and really should give them a morale boost going into their next couple of games. That, you could say, all right, week 1 was a fluke, maybe Jihu are the team to beat in our division, but we, in true anime fashion, they'll go on a journey, train so hard their hair falls out, and then they'll face Jihu later. Cloud 7, I think, I liked their draft. I liked elements of their gameplay, but I think they need to work on buttressing the mid lane, because I feel like Mad Hacker was getting really focused down a lot, and getting more early impact out of their jungler.
Alright, with that will be all for today, I believe. Is that correct, Mr. Producer? That is correct. I am sorry to say, folks. We will be having more games tomorrow at 12 p.m. EST, so make sure to watch it. I am Ansem571.
I'm TTU Phoenix, and you may see us live tomorrow.
Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see about that.
Right. Whether or not they cast us live, we don't know. We will see you
maybe
tomorrow,
not.
folks.
We'll see. But that'll be all.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
Thank you, and good night.